local second-hand store gave me a free tank, so I cleaned it up nice and I'm going to make it into a terrarium. I've got my glamorous assistant Lil Bit here with me. Now, starting off with my drainage layer, I've got filter sponge and activated charcoal. I'm now making a sort of sticky substrate. Now, it's not your classic sticky substrate because I don't use clay or anything. I've just got this, the coconut fibre or coir bricks. I'm not sure I've pronounced that right. So it's that mixed with water and then sphagnum moss with more water and sand, and then I mix that all together until it's combined into almost like when you're making pastry or a biscuit dough. I've set that aside to absorb the rest of the water, and now I'm going to start with my base layer of substrate, which is just basically leftover terrarium substrate I had made up and some topsoil, and I'm working it up towards the back in a slope so it's deeper at the back for planting and to give that sense of depth. And now I'm going to use my sticky substrate mix that I made earlier, and I'm just going to make sure that I press that and slope that up gradually towards the back. So I'm sloping that up and pressing it up against the glass and then building up those layers and just doing it a bit at a time until the back layer of glass is covered. Work seems to get the Yuki seal of approval with my cat deciding to make another appearance. Look at that little cutie. And my hands are really messy, but I love doing stuff like this. I find it really grounding, and when I was a kid I loved playing in mud. I'm now hydrating some more sphagnum moss. I'm going to press that up against the sticky substrate, up against that back wall there of sticky substrate. And the reason I'm doing that is because I often find that if you want to grow and put moss on your back wall there, then it doesn't really like to grow and attach to that substrate alone, and it does a lot better if there is some sphagnum moss. So I'm now pressing that in the areas in which I think I might want to put moss, and I love moss, so I guess I'm putting a lot of sphagnum down to grow a lot more moss. I'm now going to play around with some bits of hardscape. So I have some lichen covered bits of bark that I found on a walk, and I think that they look really cool. So now I find this bit's almost like a jigsaw puzzle, and I just try and find the best arrangement. It's obviously personal preference, but I found having them sort of sticking up vertically looked better and gave some more height towards the back. Back to my trusty old friend sphagnum moss. You could call me a sphag hag. I can't believe I made that joke. Anyway, I'm thinking about where I would want to put moss in the foreground now, and placing sphagnum moss as the growing medium there. And there you have it. Now I actually decided to change those last two bits because they were annoying me. I'm just making sure everything's neat, and look at this. I've got my moss box out. I absolutely raided my moss box for this one. As you can imagine, I'm going to have to go and get some more and grow some more. And it's time for planting now. So plant number one is my asparagus fern. I love asparagus ferns. They are so cute. I think it really plays with a sense of scale. They really look like little trees. So that was the first one I wanted to put in. The next plant that I'm going to put in is this one, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know what it is. I found it in the sales section of my local garden centre, and I thought it looked really cute, and it was amongst other houseplants and terrarium things, but it didn't have a label on it, so I have no idea what kind of plant it is. So if you could let me know in the comments, that'd be great. And it actually goes the same for this one. It was also in the same sales section and didn't have a label, and it's really, really cute. It's so little and dainty, and I love it. So I would really like to buy it again. So if you do know what that plant is called as well, please leave it in the comments down below, and I'll be incredibly grateful. it's time for moss and ferns. So I start pressing them in where I like and playing around with the different areas in which I want to put them. Here is some cute little rocks that I like. I'm just playing around with the arrangement. They rock, you could say. That's a rockin' arrangement. Oh god. Now adding a small spider plant baby, because honestly my spider plants are really fertile and are having loads of babies. So I thought I'd put 2 of them in here. And if anyone local wants some spider plant babies, then hit me up, because I got them. And now I'm going to add some more moss, because moss is great and I don't think you can have too much moss. Now I'm sticking moss to the back wall, just pressing it on the sticky substrate and sphagnum moss and just pushing it in. Look at that. Look how much better everything looks with moss. Moss is so great. Now I'm going to add in a little spider plant baby. A little spidey baby. More moss, more moss, more moss. Because I love moss so much, I'm going to leave you with some nice calming footage of me putting the rest of the moss in. Add this tiny little baby Photonia cutting, and hopefully that'll grow in, and some more decorative pebbles. Obviously didn't like that one. There we go, different one. I'm just going to scatter them around. I think they're quite nice detail to add. Now adding more sticks. How this is coming along. I think the details bring it to light. You could say that it's very lit, as in I've now added a light and it is now much better lit. Sorry, it was getting a bit dark. And now adding more sort of leaf litter and gravel. It's just pea pebbles that I'm adding, and some little botanicals now, just to try and really make it feel like a forest floor. And look at that. Those details I think make a big difference. Cute. And there it is, pride of place in the terrarium wall that I have in my living room. I'm so happy with how it's turned out. I think it looks really nice. I plan to make this a really nice enclosure for some interesting looking isopods, so I'm gonna order that once I've made a lid for this terrarium. It's been about a month and I've added an additional cutting to add a pop of colour of a Triloscanthia just there. I'm going to leave you with some nice footage of how it's all grown in. If you enjoyed this video, then please comment down below what you think, give us a like and follow our channel. Thanks.